Well, hey everyone, this is Grace of GB Maltese, and I hope you're doing finer than frogs hair. I am getting kind of over a sinus infection, so I'm going to do a whip and chat with you today, and I'm going to work on this beautiful baby fawn from Star Roar. As you can see, I have been working on it. This has been a pleasure to work on. Perfect. The canvas is perfect. It's just wonderful. It's got a nice cotton backing. Star Roar is the place. I'll put the link to her shop, but she also sells on Amazon. So you can only find this one, I believe, in her shop, and it comes from China, but it only took 2 weeks to get this, so it was pretty quick. And she's got a lot of other stuff, and the prices are fabulous. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I don't want to do a painting that's going to take me a significant portion of my life, whatever. Sometimes I just want something smaller, and this is the drill area is 35 by 47. There are 25 colors, and I've been working on the flowers. Look how cute. I'll be working on that little baby fawn before long. But I have a little story I want to tell you about something that happened a couple of weeks ago. This has been something that's been going on for a few months, but I'm going to tell you the story of why I had to get a mortar and pestle. Yeah, this thing weighs about between 7 and 8 pounds. It's a heavy sucker, and I'm gonna tell you why I have it. It's kind of funny. I think it's freaking hilarious in parts because I was there. Anyway, let's get started on this, and I'll tell you the little story. Now, most of you, if you've been watching me for any period of time, you know that I have a husband who is a bird aficionado, a bird lover, bird watcher, I call him Bird Daddy, because that's what he is. He's a daddy to all the birds. He feeds them, waters them, takes very good care of them. He loves his birds. Well, we had a very successful year because purple martins are one of his favorite birds, and they come usually, I think they came, I don't know if it was the end of February or first part of March. They came a little later this year because of that freeze we had the year before. I think that they figured, yeah, we're not going to go as early this time. Thank the Lord, because, yeah. It didn't, it was chilly, but it didn't get like it did last year. So, Jerry takes such good care of the birds, and when they are mating and getting ready to lay eggs, they need extra calcium. So he used to always put the oyster shells and the normal things that you put out for birds. Well, he was doing some reading and found out that eggshells were actually a better source of calcium than the oyster. So he went on, started looking for eggshells. Anytime I'd cook eggs, I'd have to clean the eggshells. I'd put them in either the oven or the microwave and heat them up for quite a little bit of time to make sure we killed any kind of bacteria that might have been on it. So yeah, we made sure that they were safe for the birds, because birds have very delicate systems. When they get sick, it's very hard to get them well. Anyway, let's continue on. So we don't need enough eggs to feed. He had probably about 50 pairs, maybe a little bit more. So we're talking about, at least 50 females and 50 males, and they normally have 5 babies. And they also will feed those shells to the babies. So, you know, between the two, we're not eating that many eggs, okay? So he starts looking for eggshells online. And lo and behold, we find eggshells on... Okay, now I'm putting it in the wrong spot. I'm so busy telling the story. Yeah, that's good, Grace. Let's put them in the right... Let me see, were these... Yep, those are okay. So he looked on eBay. And you could get 8 pounds of... They were washed and cleaned eggshells. They weren't, you know, crushed. They were just eggshells that were in pieces. And so they were $40-something. So, of course, we ordered them. And he started putting the eggshells out. I'm going to tell you something. Those birds loved the eggshells. They quit taking any of the oyster shell. It was eggshells from then on out. So that 8 pounds of eggshells lasted. I mean, we didn't have any problems. And anytime we'd eat eggs, of course, we had saved those and we'd clean them or whatever and to be feeding them. Well, then Jerry got to doing... It's dangerous when he gets online, okay? It's just dangerous. He gets online and he's reading about, you know, calcium for people. And he was looking up, you know, the best source to get your calcium, because he was thinking he needed to start taking more calcium. And what is the best source for calcium? And actually, eggshells were right there, you know, very good. That's the main thing he put in, was looking for eggshells. Is this a good source of calcium for human beings? And yes, it was at the top, you know, close to the top of the list. Not only did you get calcium, but other vitamins along with it. And you had to take it as a powder. Therein comes this baby. Here this comes in, because you have to crush those things into a powder. So I get online, go to Amazon and look for a mortar and pestle. And this one had some fabulous reviews. So I thought, okay, I'm going to get this one. Little did I know I was going to have to follow this list. I'll leave it here if you want to stop your device to read all the things you have to do in order to clean and cure your mortar and pestle for the first time. It took me an hour to do all those directions, and then you had to let it sit overnight with the paste that you made. You got to crush white rice in there until it's clean. I was crushing rice for 30 or 40 minutes. And then you had to do 2 cloves of garlic with the skin removed, coarse salt, cumin seed, and a bit of whole coriander. Okay, you're done with the rice. You get rid of that when it looking clean. So then you crush that, and it forms a paste. And so, you know, I got all of that. Smelled like garlic in the house for a while, because you got to leave it sitting out. So the next day, all you can do is wash this with water. It's kind of like cast iron. You're never supposed to use, you don't wash them, you know, you wipe them out. This one you can just rinse out with water, and you can use a sponge, a clean sponge if needed. So I got the eggshells. It says, you know, to boil eggs. So I boiled eggs that day. So we'd have some hard-boiled eggs. And then I cleaned them off real good, made sure they were clean, popped them into the microwave to make sure any bacteria was off of them, whatever. I wanted to make sure we had nice, clean eggshells. So this is what it looked like when I got finished. Here are the crushed eggshells. Crushed them as fine as you can, okay? Because they said eggshell powder. And but even my ceiling fan is blowing it around a little bit. So it was very fine. Jerry crushed on it. I crushed it. I was showing him kind of how I used the mortar and pestle. And so we crushed them up till they were nice and fine. And so Jerry gets a spoon, and he takes a little bit of the eggshell. He took maybe a quarter of a teaspoon, maybe, just using a regular teaspoon, and put it in his mouth. And I kid you not, it sounded like he was chewing gravel. I said, what does it taste like? And he said, nothing. I said, doesn't that hurt your teeth? And he said, well, it's kind of like chewing. He did say that it was kind of like chewing on little rocks or pebbles, you know, gravel. That's exactly what it was like. So I'm thinking, you know, that may not be good for your teeth. Well, what do I know? So after he's done that and gets it down, what does he do? He gets another spoon. He gets a spoon and takes some more and puts it in his mouth and starts again. And I'm like, oh, I don't know how you can do that. And when he was finished, he said, gosh, I hope I didn't just ruin my teeth and, you know, get any of the, you know, the important stuff that's on your teeth, you know, gnawed off of there or ground off, because crushed eggshells, they're hard, okay? You know, an eggshell's hard. They're not soft when they're crushed. It's like little rocks. So I told him, I said, you can't just eat that. And I said, you'd have to put that into some kind of a liquid, or, you know, you could even buy capsules and put them in there. But we've got a mortar and pestle. This is 6 hard-boiled eggs worth of eggshells, because we did this maybe 2 weeks ago. He hadn't taken another bite out of it. He hadn't taken any more. Yeah, because he was talking about, you know, I could mix it with something, you know, drink. He was even talking about sprinkling it on his food. I'm like, you're still going to have to chew it. So, yeah. So, the mortar and pestle, I can use this for other things. He feeds the birds roasted, unsalted peanuts. That's the best thing to give the birds. Well, he decided he was going to crush some, because he was running out of some suet. So he crushed some of the peanuts, and he tasted it. He said, oh my gosh, that is so good. He said, it's as good as candy. So I'm like, there you are, eating the bird's food. So, yeah, we'll get use at it for other things. But this thing, hear that? This thing's heavy, and I didn't drop it. I just kind of set it down. I'm afraid if I dropped it, what it might do to my table. It's made of granite. Yeah, solid granite here. Okay. Precision Culinary. This is recommended by chefs and everyone. They had it on sale. It was regularly $33. I got it for $23. So, if you're thinking about doing eggshells, don't chew them. Okay. I just thought I'd pass that little information along. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I thought he was joking with me there for a while when he's telling me. You know, and I looked it up too, and it did say eggshells were a good way to get calcium, but Lord have mercy. If you want to keep your teeth, I don't suggest you do what he did. Not a good idea. So that was our adventure with the mortar and pestle, and trying out the powdered eggshells. Yeah, that's as powdery as we could get it. I mean, it looks like a powder, you know, but eggshells are hard. So he said, oh, well, you know what? I can put it out crushed like that for the birds. Oh, Lord, whatever. The birds are done with all of their nesting, and they're gone. The purple martins have left, but we have other birds coming up. Of course, we have cardinals year-round, and blue jays, and, oh gosh, so many different kinds of birds. So, if you're wondering if eggshells are good for calcium? Yeah, they are. But I wouldn't suggest that. I wouldn't even take them if you put them in a capsule and swallow them. I feel like I'm eating, have rocks in there. I mean, I'm sure, when you buy calcium tablets, it's probably got some kind of rock or something in there. I don't know. Oyster shell, whatever. But that's just a little bit more than I could go. So, maybe next time we should try the brown eggs. I wish you could have been here and seen his face when he was, yeah, he was chewing on that for quite a while. But what got me was when he went ahead and took another little spoonful of it and then started crunching again. That's the end of it. He hasn't wanted to take any more of the eggshells. They're still there waiting on him though. He's going to save them for the birds, he said. Whatever. But have any of you ever taken eggshells for calcium or heard that it was good for you to take them as calcium supplements? I mean, they are, but I'm not sure. He needed to do more research. He needed to see how to get them down. I may have to look that up. But I don't know that he's even going to want to do that. After his experience with the crunching of the gravel. So, I did get to go and spend some time with my sister. During that time, we took care of one of her grandsons. She has 3 grandchildren, and they're all boys. Her daughter has, well, he was 10 months at the time that I went over, and she and her husband were going to a wedding in Ohio, and we're in Texas, so they had to fly, and they were going to be gone for a few days. So Judy asks if I can, come and help her and her husband with the baby. I said, sure, this is going to be so much. We thought we were going to just have so much fun. I mean, he is adorable, just adorable. And they were leaving on a Friday morning to catch their plane, and they were coming back Sunday. They got back around 9:30, I guess, Sunday morning. And we had sweet. He is adorable, just adorable. And I'm not going to show pictures because I don't do that unless I have, permission from parents. He's a doll, and he is, of course, he's crawling everywhere. But the problem was, that would have been just fine if we could have had him crawling and playing. We were looking forward to, playing with him and all that kind of fun stuff. But he had other ideas. He was pulling at his ear, and they had left eardrops. He does have tubes in his ears because he had so many ear infections. So we had drops to put in his ears. Then we didn't know this, but he had another tooth coming in. So this is just mildly putting it. We had one hell of a weekend. The poor baby. He wanted to be held. I mean, he would play for a little while. And the thing was, I had not even met him. I mean, I have not been to my sister since he was born last September. So he didn't really know me. And Judy, of course, she has seen him and helped take care of him occasionally, but normally she doesn't see him all the time. And her husband, he's seen him less than Judy has, because Judy would usually go to their house, because I live about 45 minutes to an hour away from her where she lives, so she didn't want them to have to drag all their stuff over. But baby knows Judy, I'm just a complete stranger. So the little darling was wanting to be held a lot. And as long as Judy was in the same room, he didn't mind who was holding him. But she leaves the room, like to even go to the bathroom or whatever, he starts crying. Oh, it's just so pitiful. He is just crying and crying and crying. And so, I'm like, hurry up! I said, if you gotta do anything, just let me take care of him. You go do what you gotta do, and I'll watch him. I mean, I'll do what you gotta do, and you watch him, because he is not happy at all. So, well, you know, it's hard to hold going to the bathroom 24/7. So anyway, she had to be there. We'd take turns holding him and walking him around. He just wasn't feeling good. You could tell he wasn't feeling good, pulling at his ears. I mean, he was even sticking his tiny little finger in his ear when he was eating. It's just adorable. So he didn't want to take his bottle. He didn't want to eat any of his food. Well, no, he was eating the food okay. We were doing okay with the food, but the bottles, it was like he just wasn't enjoying it. And we think it could be that she's breastfeeding him and she had to freeze the breast milk so it would last while they were gone. And they do say that the taste can be different. I don't know. I wasn't going to try it out and find out. But, yeah, he wasn't real happy. You know, he'd put the bottle in his mouth. And then he'd start slowing down. And then he'd just, you know, kind of push it out. He'd turn his head and get it, you know, get this out of my mouth. I don't want this. So we would keep the bottle. I mean, we had to get him to drink the bottle. Because, you know, he's eating a little food, but his main nutrition is coming from the milk. So, while we were sitting in there playing, he would be playing with something. We try to give him the bottle every so often. It was wild. It was wild. So, we were able, you know, over about an hour's period of time, we were finally able to get the bottle down. Boy, was that something. I'm like, maybe we need to make the hole bigger. I don't know. So it was, I felt like I had not only run a marathon, but I felt like I had been sleep deprived. And, you know, it was hard. Thinking to myself, this is why you have children when you're younger. Because I tell you what, I don't know how these grandparents who take care of their grandkids, I don't know how they do it. Matt, my hat's off to you. Because, you know, I taught school for 34 years, and a lot of those kids stayed with their grandparents. And I tell you what, of course, some of the grandparents were not that old. They'd had their child maybe young, and their child had their baby young. But not all of them were that way. And I just have to take my hat off to you. To do that. Lord have mercy. I mean, this was my great nephew, of course. So we were starting to count the hours down to when they were going to get back. We felt so bad for him. We'd get him to sleep, and then we'd go to try to lay him in the crib, and then he'd wake up. Occasionally we were able to lay him down and get him to sleep. And I think he might have slept 4 hours straight one time. And bless my sister, her bedroom's downstairs and I was sleeping upstairs, but she did not come and get me up during the night. But this is how loud it was. Okay, she was downstairs on one side of the house and I'm upstairs on the other side of the house. I could hear him I could hear the crying all the way upstairs. And I'm thinking, well, I had told her, you know, call me or text me or whatever. if you need me to come downstairs. And she said, oh no, Rex and I'll take turns. Well, guess who he wanted all the time? he wanted Judy. So, it was, and when you were holding him, you had to be walking, just constantly. He wanted to be walked. That was when he was fighting sleep. He did not want to go to sleep. He fought that sleep like it was the most important thing in the world, that he not go to sleep. I mean, like something was bad was going to happen if he closed those little eyes. Poor baby. He's a little doll, though. He's a little doll. And he's got his first year birthday coming up, so I've been checking out what to get him for his first birthday. I have watched some different videos of the best thing to give a 1-year-old for their birthday. You know, trying to be something that they will actually use, play with, or help them with their growth and education, whatever. And I watched this one lady who, she was a pediatric therapist, I think. She was, whatever. And she also had children, and she had a 1-year-old, and she was showing the things that she got her child. And so I'm looking at some of those things. Oh, my battery is showing that it's going to die. So I guess I'm going to cut this short. You guys take care. I love you, and I'll be talking to you again soon. Bye. God bless.